We'd like to welcome you to the meeting this afternoon. I would like to extend a happy new school year, a fresh start, a brand new beginning, and a hope for the best year ever. And I hope you're all feeling it as your kids approach their first day of school. To begin with, Meg Cooley is not here this evening, so I will be taking over her responsibilities as president, and I would like to nominate Diana Hill to be our vice president. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? I wish you were sitting closer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed?
Aye.
You have to.
I need three. Oh, I have to. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
There we go.
Okay, the motion carries 3-0. I'd now like to have Mrs. D'Angelo do a roll call, please.
Mrs. Davidson.
Here.
Mr. Forehand. Here. Mrs. Hill.
Here.
Okay, next we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Forehand, would you lead us?
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will move for adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries 3-0. Now we move, since we have no public comments, we will move to information and presentation. And Mrs. Reed, we would like you to begin with a presentation of supplemental materials.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Davidson. Tonight, we're bringing forward 3 separate supplemental materials. The first one is El Escape Cubano by Mira Canyon. We're bringing this novel forward for LAHS Spanish 1 classes. The novel provides repetition of high-frequency vocabulary words and phrases that will be used to build upon other novels in Spanish 1. It also serves as an excellent bridge to Spanish 2 and Spanish 2 honors, as well as is supportive of the AP Spanish themes.
Thank you so much. Did you want to talk about the other one?
Perfect, I'll do that. The second one we're bringing forward this evening is Strictly Strings. It's an orchestra companion by James Killian and Jacqueline Dillon, and this will be used for our LAHS orchestra classes. This book provides scales, compositions, and orchestral excerpts designed to help develop both technique and musicianship. And then the third novel we're bringing forward tonight is Anxious People by Frederick Backman. This will be brought forward for use at Los Alamitos High School in the English department. It's a heartwarming and humorous novel that brings together a group of strangers that are held together in an apartment in which their stories unfold, revealing their personal struggles, fears, and hopes. The novel explores themes of mental health, economic hardship, and the importance of relationships and human connections, ultimately highlighting the power of empathy and understanding and overcoming life's challenges. And all 3 of these supplemental materials will be on public preview for the next 30 days in the Educational Services Office.
Thank you. And we really thank you and your team for all the work that goes into finding the materials that's best for our students. And we as board members are able to take the books home with us and read them over the 30 days too. And it's usually a really good read. So thank you. Okay, so we now are moving on to Dr. Wiesreit, who will be giving us a quarterly report on the Williams uniform complaints.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson. We are happy to report we have no Williams uniform complaints for this last quarter.
Thank you. Great news. We're moving on to our consent items now. Those are the items that we do that cover the general business of the district. So I would like a motion for approval of consent items 4A through AL.
I so move.
Second.
Is there any discussion? So these materials, these agenda items are available to us on Friday. We're able to read them, study them, and ask any questions before we vote on them today. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 3-0. Okay, moving on now to our action items. Approval of maintenance agreements. Is that separate? Because that's AJ and AK.
Action A.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, okay. Oh, that's okay. So we're going to action A, adoption of the district board priority goals and district core values for 24-25. And Dr. Pulver, would you like to address that?
I would. Thank you, Madam president for the day. As you know, each year, I think one of the powers of this district is we really try to keep consistently our board priority goals and our core values. We try not to dramatically start a new shift each and every single year, that we have some continuity. But we do take a look at them every year and make some changes. So typically in the late spring, early summer, the board has a workshop that we spend almost an entire day with a facilitator to take a look at results from the previous year. We take a look at our board goals and continue to talk about vision and expectations that we have as we continue to focus forward. And so at our meeting, I believe it was in May, we really spent some time unpacking our board goals and setting our priority goals and core values for 2024-25. They have not changed significantly, but we do always make some minor changes. And so goal one in our profession continues to really be about passionately pursuing academic excellence from all students by providing unparalleled preparation for college and career success. So we really know that this is not students' end game here in our PK through 12th grade journey, that it's really about where do kids go when they leave from us. And so it's about college and career success. One of the changes there, we really changed the words of signature practices in that first bullet to really what research-based instructional strategies, which are most of our signature practices really have been research-based instructional strategies, but perhaps the general public doesn't know what does the word signature instructional practice mean. And so we thought it'd be more important to really align that because it is important for us to stay research-based, continue to provide targeted intervention supports, and make sure every student really meets or exceeds grade level standards. That is the vision that we have for all kids. I don't know of any parent who hopes that their kids are below grade level. And so this is the vision that we want to have for all kids. And I think it's a vision that parents would want as well. Engages in learning that promotes student wellness and academic rigor. We know that really both are important to continue to support A through G college entrance requirements, because even if they don't go through college, we know that students who complete A through G are really just on a higher trajectory for going into career success as well. And our board really has made a broader emphasis. It's not just about AP, and so this continues on. It's really about career technical education. We value career technical education, dual enrollment opportunities, which allows some students to be able to take courses at a community college while they're at the high school to get some college credit as well, which the beautiful thing about that is they don't actually have to take an AP test to get the college credit. It's just by taking in the coursework they can. And then develop fundamental skills in science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. That kind of encompasses goal one. Goal two, we changed slightly, but really all we did was kind of reorder some of the bullets below. It really continues to be about cultivating a thriving and safe culture that ensures a caring, inclusive, equitable, and student-centered environment. And the bullet we moved up a little bit higher is really about what we're about, our 4 A's, and that we are really trying to ensure that every student is connected. We know the power of connectedness to connect kids through academics, athletics, activities, and the arts. And so continuing to provide safe and secure facilities, mental health services to support students and staff wellness, and build a positive school community with appreciation for diversity, equity, and inclusion for all of our students. Goal 3, 4, and 5. Goal 4 and 5 kind of flip their order as we look at the projects that we're working on and the realities that we are in. So goal 3 is foster collaborative relationships and partnerships with students, families, staff, and the community. Goal 4, we moved up because as we've been facing more difficult financial times and with the state budget, with the majority of districts across the state facing declining enrollment, as Mrs. Galicia Schnur shared at our meeting in the summer when we approved the budget, that really in reality, we have about a 2% less COLA because of our declining enrollment and because of the state budget than we do. So it's going to be even more important for us to really strategically manage and allocate financial resources to maximize our students' educational experiences. And we continue to want to make sure that in Goal 5, provide high quality facilities to meet educational and instructional needs of students and staff. And so within our core values, we really made some changes to our core values last year, putting in a value at the very end of honor, really believing that the value of every student's unique educational path, that it's our responsibility to recognize, respect, and honor their individual journey of unlimited possibilities. So that remained unchanged. We just made a few different wordsmithing changes in the section about care, really making sure that we are respecting individuals and we seek to understand all points of view, and that's going to ongoingly be our focus. But we hold ourselves responsible for serving the needs of our students and families by maintaining a clear focus on our goals, and that's why I think it's important that our goals, we spend so much time talking about what our goals are this year before the board approves them today, and that really trying to meet the needs of all students through systems, structures, and opportunities that promote success, while at the same time valuing our similarities and differences of all individuals. And so that is our 2024-25 district priority goals and core values that we are bringing forward today, that we spent much discussion about and entertain further discussion with the board before it gets approved tonight.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval of adoption of the district board priority goals and district core values?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
I'd like to make a couple comments. Thank you very much. First of all, I just have so much respect for staff that they listen to the board when we're in these meetings and really know how to pinpoint in very precise ways what we want, in the sense of being able to know what our goals and our core values are and what is really important to the community, what we hear in the community, and what we know that our parents want for our children. And I'm very appreciative of that. I also just have the highest amount of respect for the professionalism that we provide in this school district. And when we talk about highly qualified staff and research-based instructional strategies, to me, that just says that we are working from a place that we are going to do everything we can and look at all options to make sure that we're bringing the very, very best to our students on a regular basis. And I loved when we put in honor last year, and I really appreciate how much that we're really pointing out that we do seek to hear differences of opinions, because we're not all the same. It'd be really boring if we were all the same and all had the same opinion. But it's how do we bring that together to get to the very best answer? And so I'm just very appreciative of you and of the time that we had this summer to really be able to explore that. And then you doing it in such an amazing, succinct manner. Thank you.
That was perfectly stated. I thank you. I just would like to add to that that being a part of the discussion in the summer is an opportunity to look at the great work of every member of staff, classified and certified throughout the district, a fabulous district administration and site administrators that work hard to look at these goals and priorities and make them happen. And we don't just do wordsmithing or move priorities and goals around. We actually sit down and we hear what's been done, what we're in the midst of doing, and what we need to do going forward. So it's a great opportunity to just self-reflect, problem solve, and look to the future. So really, it's a wonderful day, and it's a great document because it reflects an incredible work of the district. So thank you. So all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? The motion carries 3-0. And now we're moving on to approval of the 2024-25 Los Alamitos Unified School District Board of Education Governance Handbook. Dr. Pulver, would you like to address that, please?
Yes. So thank you, Mrs. Davidson, and our fellow board members. As at that same summer workshop that we take a look and have it spend the day really unpacking with the facilitator, we also really talk about how do we as a governance team, which are the 5 board members and ultimately myself, want to hold ourselves accountable to each other, to the work that we do, et cetera. And so these are kind of like our hands in the middle. Here's what we agree to is how we're going to be an effective governance team. Obviously, as a board, I don't have a voting say. The 5 board members do. And really, as you continue to be reminded, in your own work and by our facilitator and others, that the work of the board is really the power is when there's at least 3 votes. And so how do you build consensus? How do we, because no one has an individual purpose or power in the role of the board. It's really collectively, when the board speaks, they speak with a voice of at least the majority. And so a variety of different situations about how we'll run our meetings, how we'll interact with one another, how do we respond to community needs. Typically, we refer them back to the school side, to the administrator that might be the most acquiesced to be able to support their needs, et cetera. And so there's just a number of different protocols that we have agreed to that we're going to hold ourselves accountable. We'll revisit each year. And this is the result of our conversations and agreements in the room that day that we want to now solidify formally through your consideration this evening.
Thank you. That was a great explanation. Do I have a motion for approval of our Board of Education Governance Handbook?
I so move.
Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say that I really believe that healthy relationships, whether they be organizational or whether they be personal, really have a set of norms and understandings on how we approach things, how we communicate, how we deal with things, and manage them. And so I really appreciate that we relook at this, refamiliarize ourselves, and that we act in the most professional manner on this dais. And I think that has all of us that have to come together to do that. And I just really appreciate that and appreciate having a document I can refer to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. The motion carries 3-0. Moving on to approval of the 2025 Board of Education meeting dates. Dr. Pulver.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Davidson. So it's always important for our community to be able to anticipate when our board meetings will be conducted. And so we typically approve them at a calendar year, and the board's true organizational meeting doesn't occur until December, which is where they set who will be the president, the vice president. They will formally readopt and approve these meeting dates, but we also want to give the community advance notice of when our board meeting dates will be for the 2025 calendar year, which kind of overlaps 2 different school years, the 24-25 and the 25-26 school year. So if the board approves these meeting dates today, then we will go ahead and be able to put these on our website and make them available to the public so the public can. For the most part, it's about 1 meeting a month. There are a few months that require 2 meetings a month. And then there are a few months in March, April, and October that we go ahead and we have a workshop only. But at that workshop, if there are business items that need to be conducted, they can be afterwards. But typically, as you guys all know, our workshops are opportunities where we get to present, have our school reports, and we want to make sure we can hear from all 9 of our schools. And then in the summer, we're typically dark in July. We don't meet in July, but our summer calendars, June 10th, June 24th, and August 5th of the 25 school year. We typically will start those meetings earlier like we are today so that staff and others, we're not having to spend as much overtime for evening hours. And all that's communicated on the list here.
Okay, thank you. The next one is
We need to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So we have, do I have a motion for approval of the 2025 Board of Education meeting dates?
I so move.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries 3-0. The next one is adoption of Resolution 2024-2025 on board compensation for a missed meeting on June 25th for me when I was out of the country. The board member normally normally abstains.
Yeah, so we did get in touch with Mr. Fayette. He will probably be here in about 10 minutes, so we can either table this item till he's here, or we could also certainly, to respect that so that you're not having to vote on this one since
Thank
it's for you, we could also certainly table it and bring it back to the August 27th meeting as well, which would be fine. But you should formally vote to at least table the item.
Okay. Correct. Okay, I would like, oh, go ahead.
I will go ahead and recommend that we table action item 5D.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much. The next is for adoption of Resolution 2024-2025 on board compensation for missed meeting for Scott Fayette, who also was out of the country on June 25th. Do I hear a motion?
I'll second.
Okay, and is there any discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Mrs. Davidson,
Aye.
Mr. Forehand, and Mrs. Hill.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries 3-0. Moving on to approval of warrants. These are the bills that we pay every month. Do you need to say anything? No, you don't need to say anything. Do I have a motion for approval of the warrants?
I move approval.
I second.
Any discussion?
I do just like to point out to the public that it was over 60 pages of warrants and that we do get the opportunity to ask and that we look at every item and every dollar that is spent in this district. So I appreciate staff and appreciate staff getting back to us and giving clarification where we needed it.
I agree, and thank you, Elvia, because there's a lot, and Myra and the whole staff, there's a lot of acronyms that sometimes I ask about. So, and one page, 60 pages, one page may have 50 items on it. So that could create a lot of questions. Do I hear a motion for approval? Oh, we already did that.
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 3-0. So the next part is wonderful. It's the acceptance of donations by an incredibly wonderful community. So do I have a motion for approval? Do we want to look at the video?
We'll let them play that.
Look at it first. I mean, look at this. People are out, it's summer, and still we get all of these wonderful donations, and they're a huge reason why we can do so many of the programs. So total monetary donations, $11,750, with a total to date of $11,750. Why? Because it's a new school year. So thank you very much. Do I have a motion for approval?
So move.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We're now moving on to approval of our classified personnel report, certified personnel, and administrative personnel reports. And we turn this over to Dr. Wieswright.
Thank you, Mrs. Davidson. Yes, all three personnel reports reflect the changes since our last meeting, and we recommend approval as submitted.
Okay.
I move approval.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The motion carries 3-0. Now we're going to look at approval for certified personnel to serve as members on the administrative expulsion hearing panel and expulsion readmission panel. Dr. Wieswright?
Yeah, thank you. Every year we bring forward a list of certificated personnel who can serve as members of our administrative expulsion hearing panels.
Okay, thank you. Do I hear a motion for approval?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion carries 3-0. We're looking to approve a payment agreement, settlement, and release between Los Alamitos Unified School District and a certified employee. Dr. Wieswright.
Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Davidson. This is the approval of a repayment for an employee who was overpaid less than $1,000 over the course of this next school year.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for approval?
I so move.
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next is approval of an agreement and stipulation to a suspended student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights. Mrs. Hill is going to read the motion.
The motion to approve agreement and stipulation of suspended students expulsion waiver or hearing of appeal rights. It is moved that the agreement and stipulation to suspend student expulsion waiver of hearing and appeal rights be approved for the violation of the following Educational Code 48900A1C.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The motion carries 3-0. So we now move to closed session, and we thank you for being a part of this meeting. Thank you.